Oman is located on the southeastern edge of the Arabian Peninsula, bordering mainly the Arabian Sea and the Gulf of Oman. The country also has one of the hottest and driest climates in the world. Famous for being a prehistoric human settlement, Oman is also the oldest independent state in the Arab world, which until 1970 was referred to as the Sultanate of Muscat and Oman. The country was the most influential power in the region during the 19th century. Oman offers spectacular views because of its beautiful landscape. There are so many historical buildings, including the unique Nizwa fort, that remind us of the turbulent history of Oman. And so we decided to visit this country, although it was just for a weekend. We crossed the border with Oman late at night and headed straight to the capital Muscat, which took us around 3.5 hours. In the morning, we woke up to this magnificent view from our hotel. Of course, one couldn't resist having a swim in the Gulf of Oman. Since we had only 2 days to enjoy Oman, after the breakfast we went for a drive around Muscat. I was amazed at how beautiful and clean the city appeared to be. The first landmark on our way was the Royal Opera House Muscat, which is Oman's premier venue for musical arts and culture. The house officially opened in 2011 and serves as a center for excellence in the arts and enriches its heritage by culturally diverse programs and events. We further headed to the old part of Muscat, and here are some of the views. One surely can't miss a walk or a drive, in our case, along Matra Corniche, which is stretching for 3 kilometers along the waterfront and is lined with restaurants, cafes, and markets. From here, you can spot Mutra Fort. Rising out of the rock on which it's built, the Mutra Fort cuts an imposing figure looming over the harbor. Built by the Portuguese during their occupation of the 1580s, Mutra Fort was a sturdy defensive measure against attack from the rampaging Ottoman army. And here are some more views of the Mutra Corniche area. We are approaching the Muscat Gate Museum. Opened in January 2001, the museum contains displays about Oman's history from the Neolithic times to the present. It has a number of special exhibits on Muscat's water springs, the ancient wells, underground channels, houses, mosques, harbors, and forts. Here you get a glimpse of what the old part of Muscat looks like. We actually planned to head to Al Jalali Fort to have a look at it, but it was a pleasant surprise to see the surrounding area of the old Muscat. The Al Jalali fort was built by the Portuguese in the 1580s to protect the harbor after Muscat had twice been sacked by Ottoman forces. For much of the 20th century, it was used as Oman's main prison, but this function ended in the 1970s. Fort Al Jalali was restored in 1983 and converted into a private museum. And this is us heading back. Here's another look at the Corniche area. At night, by the way, it is absolutely beautiful here and it is a perfect time to take a walk. Plus, it's a great chance to visit a vibrant souk. So that very first day of our stay in Oman, we decided to head to one of the major landmarks in the country, Bimmah Sinkhole. It is one of the easiest sites in Oman to get to, being located about 130 kilometers south of Muscat. And since we didn't have much time on our hands, we chose the places that did not require a long time to get to. And this turned out to be such a scenic drive. that we're here. The place where the sinkhole is located also has this green little garden, which is a pleasure to walk around. Being one of the most beautiful natural pools in the world, Bimmah Sinkhole, also known as Hawiyat Najm Park, is a sinkhole filled with water around 200 meters inland. So, how did the sinkhole come to be? The local legend has it that Hawiyat Najm, Arabic for falling star, struck the earth in this very spot, creating the Bimmah Sinkhole. In reality, however, it's just a depression in the limestone that fills with brackish water, as the sinkhole is only 600 meters from the Gulf and does have fresh water that feeds into it. On our way back to Muscat, we spotted a few animals roaming around, such as camels, wild donkeys, and we were up for a relaxing scenic drive. We even caught the sunset time, which was gorgeous. Once we reached Muscat, we were advised to visit one restaurant that particularly had traditional Omani food. The restaurant design was amazing, and it did feel like you were in someone's traditional house. Unfortunately, there was not much vegan food to choose from, and even whatever they served was not all vegan. Of course, we couldn't miss a chance to drive past a few landmarks at night, such as the Royal Opera House, Zigzag Road. Speaking of which, it is certainly a nice spot to have a view of Muscat from. The mosque is a must-see place both at night and daytime. The full name of this magnificent, iconic structure is the Sultan Qaboos Grand Mosque, which dominates the skyline of Muscat. When it opened for public, the mosque used to have the world's largest chandelier. When it opened for public, the mosque also used to have the world's largest single-piece carpet, which is now the second largest single-piece carpet in the world. There are numbers of beautiful mosaics and art patterns throughout the mosque. It's just incredible. The next day, we were up for a mountainous ride on the way to another interesting and historic destination, Nizwa Fort. But till we get there, take a moment to enjoy the scenery along the way. Among the highest and most majestic mountains of Oman lies the historic city of Nizwa. Known as the Pearl of Islam, the conservative yet open nature of Nizwa makes it the second largest tourist destination in Oman. The ancient city was once the hub for trade, education, religion, and art. Surrounded by date palms and banana plantations, Nizwa is a diverse city with many historical and agricultural attractions. It is full of those attractions like the Nizwa Fort, the Souk, Jebel Akhdar, and much more. Today, the city is best known for its incredible fort, which was built in the 17th century under the direction of Sultan bin Saif al-Yaribi. However, some parts of the fort date all the way back to the 9th century. The highlight of the Nizwa fort is the enormous cylindrical tower. The fort also has some interesting defense mechanisms, including honey traps and unusually shaped windows for shooting approaching enemies. Inside the fort, there are many exhibits to present the traditional way of living in Oman. It is a simple museum and it does not overwhelm you with information. Here are some of the things you can see in the museum: traditional masks, jewelry, coffee making, and others. The fort is amazing with its stunning architecture and beautiful landscapes nearby. Definitely worth the visit if you're in Nizwa. It's the highlight of the city. Although we had only a weekend in Oman, the trip there was so well worth it. There is another absolute must-visit place in this country, which is called Salalah, and this is where I hope to be able to go one day. And once it happens, you will definitely get to see it on my channel. Subscribe not to miss it.